Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible?
Hi, you're audible, but your voice is breaking a bit.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah,
Okay. So still it is 3 o'clock. Let us wait for another 4 or 5 minutes more so that people are still joining, and then we may start the program. Mr. Cable, let's start the program and people may join.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Importance of trade credit insurance, which is called PCI, has come to occupy an important place in today's difficult business environment. Credit insurance coverage protects businesses from non-payment of commercial debt, while trade credit is a powerful commercial tool for conquering new markets and building customer loyalty. It can also weigh on working capital and cash flow of businesses. As part of cash flow management strategy, trade credit insurance can help companies control their credit risk. TCI provides a backup mechanism for businesses to be compensated quickly in the event of any adverse development. It improves working capital ratio and guards against uncertainties if cash inflows fall off dramatically. With a view to create more awareness amongst members about various nuisances related to trade and credit insurance, the Council has organized an online session today called Safeguard Trade Insurance. The session will be addressed by a team of experts from Origin Insurance Brokers India Private Limited, OIBI. OIBI are specialized trade credit insurance brokers based out of Mumbai and help corporate clients to strategize their risk management policy to protect its open account sales receivable during a default. The experts will explain about the value addition that this product can facilitate them to grow and protect its business from possible bad debts in exports and domestic trade. Ladies and gentlemen, we have amongst ourselves Mr. Keval Rathore, Vice President, and Mr. Manish Punjabi, Assistant Vice President from OIBI. So without wasting any more time, let me hand over to Mr. Manish and Mr. Keval to take over from here. Over to you, Mr. Manish and Mr. Keval.
Thank you, Vikrantji. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for sparing your afternoon on this presentation. I'll of course get to on the product, but first I want to wish everybody that I hope and I wish that everybody is safe and healthy during this difficult time of pandemic. And this pandemic has been really dreadful for a lot of families and businesses. But fortunately, we been able to help businesses during this time of difficulties. Um, I'll first start with a small brief on origin and then uh, give a more on the product and then how we can structure something for the members of the association. So, Origin is, of course, an insurance brokers, but we specialize into trade credit insurance. And we have been doing this for 18 years now. We're the oldest credit insurance brokers in India. The first policy in India was done by Origin in a private sector. And from that one policy, we are now 205 plus clients purely in credit insurance. In terms of man years experience, we of course would be the best one in the sector. What also is important is that, uh, like other insurance, where probably you meet once a year, in credit insurance there are a lot of obligation, there are a lot of servicing requirement, and which is taken care by Origin. The entire heavy lifting is done by us. uh, your service, your proposal form, your limits, and most importantly your claims. You would never require to speak to the insurance company on the whole, ever, on the any part of the whole process. uh, if you see, credit insurance has been there in India for 18 years and globally there for probably more than 40-50 years. In India also there is a government organization called ECTC who's been doing this for 70 years, but they only have been doing this for export market. But with credit insurance in the private sector, we can do both export and domestic under the same policy. The biggest advantage of credit insurance is peace of mind. So whatever receivables that you have on credit, which can be a domestic or an export receivable, if a customer default, which could be either willfully or insolvency, whatever loss that happens to you, the insurance company will make good of the loss. What I will do is I'll share a small presentation with you, and of course, then take it from there. So it will be easy for everybody to contemplate what's going on, right? Give me a sec. I'll just start share my screen. Is my screen visible? Yeah. Oh, thanks. I'll take from here. So concept of what it covers, of course, basically we mentioned that covers you for any default, but there are two kind of defaults. One is insolvency, and other is protect default. If you consider domestic market, yeah, of course, the international market, you have Chapter 7, Chapter 11, where filing of bankruptcy is the most easiest part of the whole process. But in Indian market, if somebody wants to get insolvent or declare insolvent bankrupt, it will take ages, probably more than a year. But before that, the person would have willfully defaulted. So that's the next point, which is important for domestic or Indian market, which is protected default, which is willful default, where the customer fails to pay up to a certain point of time, where this failure could be financial issue, or there could be other issues. Like we have faced instances and paid claims in the past where the if you have a distribution network or your buyer is a proprietor partnership, it's very easy for them to abscond. So I can cover that kind of challenges. Or if there is, recently we have paid claims where the proprietor expired because of COVID. It was unforeseen, the business was doing well, but there is no continuity. I'll pay the claim. Or we have paid claims in past where the proprietor committed suicide. So, or there is dispute between partners for any reason other than a dispute, I can cover you all your receivables. So, what does it actually help? So, most importantly, it improves your cash flow. It protects your cash flow. So, uh, if let's assume one of your large buyers where you have significant exposure and it goes bad, it hits your bottom line, hit the cash flow. You would have to pay bank, you would have to pay back to the bank, but you would not have money, and you would have to break your reserves. With credit insurance, all that challenges are taken care. uh, there is a bigger challenge when we are a growing entity. If say there are large corporates, where there are 1000, 15, 2000 crore, they would have their internal credit team in place. At times that also is difficult, but let's assume that when it's a growing organization, a team is small, assessing a risk becomes a biggest challenge. And there is always a tussle between the finance and the marketing team on pushing the business. Here, when the credit insurance steps in, the risk management is taken over by them. Assessing, telling you how good, bad, ugly the customer is, it's their part of the whole job. And if you have export receivables, where if you are supplying to difficult countries, let's assume Afghanistan or in recent Myanmar or any such countries where political instability could be very high. So there, if say it could be a country like Qatar, where in recent past they were out of dollars. The buyer had all the intent to pay, but there are no. I would request everybody to keep their self on mute so others are not disturbed. Thank you. So there is all these political challenges are also taken care. What also we can do is use this as a risk mitigating tool and assign this policy to the bank as a loss pay. So this increase your borrowing power. Now if you want to, so it's always important that we keep on adding new customers, new businesses, but identifying the risk is always a challenge. With credit insurance, that job also is outsourced. So these are the key terms which of course we can go in later. um, if you can give me a second. Sorry. Yeah, I'll continue. So what happens is there was some error in the presentation. I'll just take it from here without a presentation. So what happens is when you have such kind of risk, so what does credit insurance will do is it covers you for a non-payment. It helps you grow your business. What it covers and what it does not cover. So any customer in the domestic market or in export market can be covered under the policy. I've just broken my flow. If you can give me a second. I'm so sorry for the confusion for the, yeah. So what we were, of course, we discussed how it works. Now let's look at the flow, how the whole structure will work. There is one insurance company, then there are buyers, and then we are sellers. So seller would, of course, identify the risk. Insurance company will tell us, help us identify how good, bad, ugly the customers are, and assign a limit on that buyer. And insurance company will confirm that if a buyer defaults, they will make good the payment. You will supply, and on the due date, if the buyer does not pay, you have a grace period of 60 days where you notify the insurance company of a non-payment, and then insurance company will step in. What insurance company does, if a buyer does not pay the money to you, they will blacklist the customer in the system, and then after blacklisting they will intimate the other insurance company, who in turn also will blacklist that customer. So if there is any buyer who defaults to you, there is a high probability he will not able to take goods on credit for anybody else in the market with credit insurance. And now in the near future, say probably from 1st of Jan, banks also will be able to take policy on their exposure in the current scenario. IRD has changed the guidelines and bank will be able to take a policy. And if a customer in a policy defaults to bank, they will also notify the CIBIL. So the bigger challenge is if somebody's CIBIL is going to spoil, his future trade, his future borrowing also will get affected. So credit insurance is going to be a very strong tool. And say if somebody still defaults for whatever reason, insurance company is there to support you on your challenges. What is not covered in the policy is very important to understand. Anything which is on cash or which is advance or LC is not covered, which technically there is no risk per se, where if you have advance or LC which is secured from a good bank, there is no risk per se, and that is not covered in the policy. What it also says that any buyer which is overdue by 60 days at the time of the policy is also not covered. Any dispute, this is what we need to take care. Any dispute which are not legally enforceable are not covered. But when somebody says that every buyer who does not have intention to pay, who will say that there is a dispute. So what insurance company also will understand is that if any buyer who raises a dispute also should have a documentary trail evidence substantiating their dispute. So if they don't have any trail to confirm it's a dispute, insurance company will not listen to them and pay the claim. Any sales made by you where you had knowledge that the buyer is going to default or there is already a defaulting buyer, then insurance company will not cover that kind of transaction. But unless you had a knowledge, which is very difficult to ascertain at any point of time. What insurance company will also ask you, and how do you onboard a customer? How do you onboard a customer? What is your internal credit management process? And you'll define the process and submit the process to the insurance company. And when there is a claim, insurance company will evaluate and whether see if you have followed the process. A nuclear explosion, it's a standard exclusion. A devaluation and depreciation of currency. So currency fluctuation is not covered in the policy when it comes to export. Any conceptual losses or interest payment are also not covered in the policy. This is what everybody would expect, the sales made prior to the policy inception, that is also after cover. Where say if we decide to start the policy on 1st of November, we pay the premium on 1st of November. So any sales made prior to 1st of November would not be covered in the policy. Supplies made to associate or government agency is also not covered. So government agency, by government agency I mean that any government body which is state or central department or a body cannot be covered. But if it's an entity likes of ONGC, HPCL, all such incorporate entities can be covered and claim would be paid. What happens is insurance company will also evaluate once you ask for a limit. Say you want to take an exposure of 5 crore on a buyer. There could be 3 decisions. One, of course, where insurance company will approve entire 5 crore. Second decision could be where they approve a partial limit, where it could be 3 crores, saying that their financial does not support a 5 crore limit. We can give only 3 crores. And if we go ahead and still do a 5 crore business, saying that we understand, we know the customer and the risk is on us. And if there is a claim, insurance company will pay only 3 crores claim and not 5 crores. We just discussed this point in our last presentation. So how do we assess and how do we take a policy? So we would need some basic detail in a form of proposal form, which will have your aging, your top 10 customers, your buy details, and then we submit that data, insurance, and there are 4 insurance companies who do this, and this product is driven by reinsurers. Likes of, we have Atreides, who's partnered with New India and HDFC. Then we have Kofas, who is partnered with ICICI and IFCO Tokyo in India. And then we have Score, who's with SBI, and Tata AIG. These are the 4 reinsurers in Indian market who credit insurance. We submit then our data and they will assess and come back to us with the commercial. After we make them compete against each other, we shortlist one insurance company and tell them that the commercials are fine. Please go and assess our top buyers. What happens is the whole challenge of the game is to underwrite the buyer limits. What we'll do is we'll divide the customer to 2 buckets. One would be a DCL buyer, another would be approved customer. So before starting the policy, insurance company will approve our top 10 customer. We can ask what kind of exposure, what kind of limits we want. They will assess and confirm the limits. And once we are comfortable with the limits they approve, we accept and pay the premium. And then once we pay the premium, invoices raised from that day are covered in the policy. And they issue the policy, and then we have a normal declaration of monthly turnover and aging as per policy condition. How does a pricing, which is a most important factor? So credit insurance is not a tariff commercial, it's a D tariff where there are no fixed pricing. The pricing are very dynamic and it keeps on changing from one insured to other insured, from one sector to other sector, from one region to other region. So it completely depends on what kind of risk perception the insurance company would have on your risk, on your buyers. So what all risks they would consider? They will consider your industry risk. So which kind of which sector are you dealing in? If you have an export, they will also look at what country are you selling to. That's a country risk. More importantly, buy risk and concentration. At times, they will also see what is our customer base. Say if our turnover is 100 crores and our majority exposure is to only 2 or 3 customers, then the risk is very concentrated and probability of default and the exposure being high is very, very high probability. So then the pricing would change. But if the risk is divided, in that 100 crore you have 500 customers, but then the risk is not concentrated, so their risk perception changes. They will also look at what are your past bad debts. What in last 3 years, what kind of write-off you have. Terms of payment is another condition. They will also look at what kind of internal assessment we have. This all factors put together, they derive at a pricing. You see, this is the process where they will assess and tell you how a limit is derived on a customer, where I'll ask for a basic detail like name, address, contact details, limit required, payment terms, etc. And financial availability. We submit the data, insurance company have an external agency like Mira Infocom, UCS, Rubix, who specializes in getting buyer information and submitting a report. And they would check all the parameters, including CIBIL, including rating agency, including their database, including market information. And if it's a proprietor partnership entity, they will also go to a length of visiting the customer and checking other market information and then submitting a report. And as discussed, insurance company can either give you a full or a partial limit depending on the buyer's strength. What they also consider, if it's a existing customer, then your trading history, your ledger also becomes a very strong point while assessing a limit. If or there could be third decision where the buyer limit is refused. But whenever they give you a refused decision, they will tell you why. And mostly the refused decision could be because the customer has already defaulted to somebody else in the market, or their net worth is negative, or their losses have mounted in last 3 years, 4 years to the length that the probability of default is very high. Most of the times, most of the insured would not look at all the such parameters. They would go only by the gut feeling or the market reference or the sales guy's recommendation. With this kind of thing, it becomes very difficult if a customer's financials are already deteriorated and we take this unconscious call and this becomes a default. Whenever we give you this holistic approach, when you give your complete information on a buyer assessment, then you take a conscious decision whether if it's still a defaulter and you still want to go ahead and do business, it's absolutely your call. So let's understand how a claim process work. As I mentioned, there are four insurance companies, four reinsurers who drive this business. Uh, Two of them have a similar claim process. So Atreides and AIG has a similar claim process, and then we have Coface and Score who have a similar claim process. So Atreides is New India and AIG is Tata AIG, and Coface is ICICI and Score is SBI. So let's assume your terms of payment of 120 days, which are mentioned on the invoice, and your limit is approved of 1 crore. So for the first 150 days, you have done a business worth 50 lakhs. And the next 60 days, which are your grace period, and all the invoices raised in that grace period are also part of the coverage. So you did 50 in the first 120 and 50 in the next 60 days. So entire 1 crore is covered in the process. Say if the money still does not come in, so you have 30 days more after the extended due date or 90 days from the due date to report and overdue the insurance company. So if the money does not come in the 98th day, you report to the insurance company saying the money is not coming. In the next 90 days, where insurance company will step in, if need be, go legal or recovery. The biggest advantage when you have a reinsurer in place is the recovery effort. So the legal cost that we probably take years together, we put in and we still don't recover anything. One, if an institute goes, so the strength that an individual would have vis-a-vis a financial institute is much higher. The probability, if it's a going concern, the probability of recovery by a financial institution is much higher than you or me can go and recover. So they will put in pressure for the next 90 days and also put them in a blacklist. And if the money still does not come after the waiting period, which is 180 days from the due date, they pay you the claim. And when it comes to SBI and ICICI, the first three the process is very similar, where terms of payment are 120 days plus a grace of 60. So you continue for 180, and all the invoices in the raised which are 180 days are covered in the policy. And the next 90 days, you notify the insurance company. And what happens is once you notify, you have 150 days. So you have a 60 days additional year when it comes to SBI and ICICI, where they take 60 days more to try and recover the money. If they could not, they pay the claim. So going legal is one. Here, whenever you say you have a check and you bounce and file 138, the biggest advantage is your legal costs are also reimbursed by the insurance company. So not only your claim amount, but also your legal cost is reimbursed by the insurance company. How does a claim process work? So I would require some basic documents, which is your invoice copy, your proof of delivery, and your communication or correspondence with the customer. If possible, if you can get a balance confirmation, that will crystallize the claim, but that is only if possible. And we submit this data along with your ledger for past 12 months, submit to the insurance company. They will evaluate the documents prima facie and then make sure ascertain the loss, the outstanding or the limit approved were as per the policy conditions, and then appoint an external agency. So they have this agency who specializes only into recovery, and insurance company use them extensively. They will approach the buyer. If required, go legal first, pressurize the buyer. They know which point to press and get the money out. If the money they will put in all the pressure, and then if the money still they're not able to recover, they they will discuss the buyer and understand, and then submit this report to the insurance company saying that the claim is payable and this is our report. Insurance company will assess and make sure everything is in order, and then release the claim. Once the claim is released, the agency work does not stop here. They will still keep on pursuing and trying to recover the money. What happens is, we have seen in past cases where after 1 year, 2 year, after putting pressure, after even paying claim, they were able to recover the money. So let's assume the claim was 50 lakh, 1 crore, and insurance company, the indemnity percent is 85%, and insurance company has already paid you 85%, which is 85 lakhs, and now they could recover 50% of the outstanding, which is 50 lakhs. Now, technically, because the insurance company has already paid you 85 lakhs, they should have that money. But with Tata Age in New India, the advantage is they will share that 15% of that 50 lakhs also with you. So your loss is further reduced by 7.5 lakhs. And if there are any recovery fees, insurance company will reimburse that recovery fees also. Now, more importantly, what Value at Origin does, as we mentioned in the start, we specialize brokers and we only do credit insurance. And fortunately, we have processed around 175 crore claims for all our customers put together in the last so many years. More importantly, whatever policy conditions are there, we handhold you for first few months, make sure your team understands, and then every month we take the data from you and analyze the data and submit to the insurance company. So if there are any gaps in the obligation, that are also made sure are in order, and if there is a claim situation, it is made sure the claim is paid. So getting your limits, overwriting, claims, understanding of the policy, hand-holding team, everything is done by Origin. So your policy management is also done by Origin. So every month when we take this data, we also do analysis of the data. So if any customer exposure is exceeding the limit approved, we intimate, we ask you to ask for enhancement. Or if there is a customer where you did not ask for a limit, we make sure we apply for a limit. Or if there are customers which are overdue or are going to be overdue and there are timelines which has to be met, that also be done. So this is done for each and every insured, each and every customer of ours, and every month. And now it's a system driven. So we just fit in the data and there is a feedback which is auto generated and submitted to the customer. So there are no mistakes also in the analysis of the policy obligation data. And the most important part is claim advisory. It would never happen that if there's a claim, we'll ask you to go and speak to the insurance company directly. There are very few brokers who do that in the policy, and we are the only ones who do it. And also so this is also pre-policy where we handhold, we understand it, and we make sure that it is reached to each and every insurance company and the data is presented rightly. What also happens is, at times if the data is not presented in the right manner, your claim your proposal form cannot get accepted, or the commercial which comes are so difficult that the policy does not be viable, or at the time of claim it becomes such a huge challenge that it becomes your claim is rejected. So we make sure that that situation does not come, that situation does not arise, and it's taken care. There is something called as TCRA, which is Trade Credit Receivable Analysis, which is developed in-house and which is only done by Origin. So in mid policy, we also analyze your data. And if there are small nuances, like if you applied for the right name, right limit under the policy, that's what we take care. And such small conditions, there are policy which are gray, which we take care. So So credit insurance policy is essentially used to mitigate a non-payment risk, but what we always tell a customer that use this as an aggressive marketing tool, where if you want to penetrate into a new customer, if you want to penetrate into a new region, this will definitely be of a huge help. I think that's from our side. We are open to questions. Members, if you have any questions, any queries, we will be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, can you give us your email IDs, please?
I'll put that on the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Manish, can you put in your email ID also?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rohitji. Manish will get in touch with you. So your voice is breaking.
Mr. Cable, can we start the question answer session or still the presentation will continue?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm open to question and answer.
So you had it?
Sorry.
Do you want to continue the question answer session?
Please, please. I would be more than happy to continue. Please.
Yeah, so we open the floor for question answer session, and interested members are most welcome to raise their questions to Mr. Cable.
Gaurav ji has asked a question where he's saying that is single buyer possible? So, Gaurav ji, what happens in credit insurance? All this policy are governed by IRDA, and especially for domestic, where they are regulated and they're not allowed to do a single buyer policy. So their mandate to all the insurance companies a whole turnover policy. So you what you can do is if you have segments, say I have customers where they have multiple segments internally. So one could be so if possible we can look at a segment but not a single buyer. Yes, but in exports where you have ECDC, there you can definitely do a single buyer. There you can do a specific shipment itself. But in domestic market, a single buyer is not allowed. By segment, I have a customer who has say multiple products like wire or switches. So that way we can differentiate and look at that. Or segment could be where you have OEM business and distribution business. So we decide not to cover the OEM business and do only distribution business. So that is still possible, right? So that's what I mean by segment, where your turnover of OEM is excluded, no premium charge, and you only cover your distribution network. I hope I have answered Gaurav. Thanks, Gaurav.
Any other questions? I think, Mr. Keval, there are no more questions.
Okay,
So let me propose the vote of thanks.
sure.
Mr. Keval Rathore, Vice President, Mr. Manish Punjabi, Assistant Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, I deem it a great honor and privilege to profusely propose the hearty vote of thanks on behalf of the Council and at my own to both Mr. Keval and Mr. Manish for sharing their immense knowledge on the subject. I am sure that their truly pace-setting and very keenly perception presentation has provided much food for thought for all of us present here. Their presentation has been a great source of guidance and inspiration. We are sure that their profound thoughts and perspective will inspire our members exporters to work with new vigor and vibe to carry forward the momentum. Finally, the successful culmination of this program owes much to the support of all of you for making this event a resounding success. I thank all the delegates to this session for making it convenient to attend. With these words, let me conclude by wishing you to stay safe and healthy. We will keep organizing more such events to sensitize and create awareness which assists you in your efforts to grow. Thank you all once again, and special thanks to Mr. Keval and Mr. Manishji for making it convenient to address them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Vikram. Thank you, all the men
Thanks a
who have
lot.
joined.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That's all.